I was like, I don't think I'll be content if my career ends one day without me ever having worked like actual boots on the ground, being exposed to what's happening in the real world in the industrial spaces. Normally, when I wake up, I start my day by going for a walk and get myself either a banana pudding matcha latte or a Vietnamese coffee or a regular latte, depending on the day. Usually there's a round robin, I take turn. And then I make my walk a little bit longer by going into the park that is very close to me. And there's a soccer field that I always walk and cross through it. And then I walk back home and start my day. My passions outside of the EHS space, outside of work in general, I would say I'm very passionate about hosting my friends, have them over, whether for game nights or movie nights or cooking hot pot together or something like that. So I do that a lot. I play soccer usually during the summer season outside. I do dancing, typically K-pop dancing. Yeah, learning choreos, trying to improve my dance memory. And I like traveling too. I travel a significant portion of the year to visit my friends in other countries. Usually I do repeats, so I go to the same cities of the same countries every year. And on top of that, my stepbrother lives in Sydney, Australia. So he's part of the roster of the tour when I go on long-term vacations from one place to... It's work vacations because I also work mostly. But it's a series of countries that I try to do repeat on every year. Why do I do what I do? Why am I in EHS space? The story of me heavily investing my time and focus to EHS software and industry overall, I guess it goes back to a little over 10 years ago. So when I graduated from university, I did my PhD in application of AI in electrical engineering. So I was an electrical and computer engineering student. Once I got my doctorate, I started to work for the electric utility company of British Columbia, Canada. It's called BC Hydro. And I thought to myself, well, I've been an academic until now, and now I'm going to have an office job for the rest of my life. When am I going to be in the field? I was like, I don't think I'll be content if my career ends one day without me ever having worked like actual boots on the ground, being exposed to what's happening in the real world in the industrial spaces. So in a little over 10 years ago, actually, in 2015, I talked to the management, and eventually I went to a very small town in northern interior of BC, Canada. The name of the town is Hudson's Hope. And if you look it up in Wikipedia, you'll see it has, I think, 900 people population. It's that small. But BC has two super large rivers, and they built very large dams on both of them. The dam that generates more electricity than any other hydroelectrical power plant in BC is on Peace River. And I wanted to work on that one. And Hudson's Hope, this town, is very close to that town. And I guess half the town works for BC Hydro, something like that. So I decided to go there. And even though it was very remote and a new experience, I learned so much about the realities of working in hazardous environments. Before that, I had no idea what does it mean to maintain a power plant? What kind of work are people doing in their day-to-day job? What causes even a serious injury? What causes a fatality? And that changed my perspective. I learned so much, and I grew in many ways that I didn't anticipate initially. But I wasn't thinking about working on safety software back then. I was working as an electrical engineer, and then later building AI tools to prevent failure of equipment and have predictive maintenance and the other sort of things. Eventually, later, after that, and maybe another job, at some point in 2021, I learned about VelocityEHS. Someone reached out to me from VelocityEHS and they said, we're interested to talk to you. Once I talked to VelocityEHS, I realized that this is a maybe once in a lifetime situation to be in when so much of your background being in AI and a part of your background, which is understanding the realities of safety, understanding the reality of hazards, understanding what workers really experience. What does it mean to be steel toe boots on the ground and go and do a high hazardous task? I realized that for someone to take this job and contribute to EHS software using AI, they need to understand both worlds. You can't just be an AI specialist and meaningfully change something in the safety world. You can build something, but it doesn't mean it's making anybody's life safer. And at the same time, if all you know is the safety part and you don't know the AI technologies and the state of the art in AI, then you can't build the kind of tools that you wish you could. But it happens to be on the overlap of both. And I thought if I don't do it, I'm kind of like betraying myself and my past. And that's how my journey with EHS software started and continues to be the case today. My reason to contribute to EHS software has only strengthened over time. Like 5 years ago, we had a certain state of the art in AI technologies, and there's so much we could do. And there was so much we could do. And we started to ideate, brainstorm, and bring those ideas into software. But now we can do even more than before. Now we can be more ambitious and more aggressive. There are a number of stats that are not commonly known in public discourse. One of them is the rate of fatalities from worker conditions, from safety-related matters in the US. And the numbers are astonishing. In some very recent years, every 2 hours, a worker would die from worker safety condition. It's heartbreaking. And in the last 20-ish years, that number hasn't moved that much. It's relatively stable, relatively plateaued. Unfortunately, even though everybody has been trying, the EHS industry has been trying, safety professionals, safety managers, even policymakers in some cases, but we haven't had as much success as we should have had, and we wish that we had. But now that with AI, we can do even more than we could have done 5 years ago, I am more aggressive in trying to put a dent in that rate of fatalities and serious injuries. I want our customers to not have serious injuries. I want our customers to never, ever have fatalities. And I want our software to put them in a position that is conducive to that safe environment when everybody can feel calm and collected when they're doing their job. So I would say my resolve has only grown over time, and more than ever, I am determined to make that a reality and my contribution.